Sasquatch has been prevalent in popular culture ever since the Patterson Gimlin film first rocked imaginations in gymnasiums and small theaters all across the country. But that's not the only place Sasquatch has appeared on film, and as we've come to find out, Sasquatch is a form of exploitation in and of itself. Tonight, Seabro goes to the movies as we take a look at one of the many, many, many Squatchploitation films out there, and we're kicking things off with the infamous, legendary Suburban Sasquatch. This film was released in 2003, direct to DVD by I believe was the first name David?
Yeah, Dave Waskovich.
Dave Waskovich. Which, before I poke fun at his movie and, I laugh at some of the things in it, I have to say I do admire him a lot as a creative. He got the money together to slap a suit together. He managed to rustle up a cast. He went out and got some locations. And hell, he even got some rudimentary computer graphics for it. So first off, a salute to you, David Waskovich, for proving you can make art just with a fistful of dollars you found underneath a couple of cushions in your couch.
And he says that because it gets really obvious throughout this movie that he made this with the budget of a baked potato bar from Cattleman Steakhouse.
Yeah, so Suburban Sasquatch has kind of been passed around for a long time on the internet. Me personally, my first exposure to it was actually on a television show on the channel G4, if anybody remembers that, called Web Soup, which was, if you want to know how long ago this was, it was hosted by Chris Hardwick.
Yeah, that's a hot minute ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was it was basically like, if you ever seen like Tosh.0, it was that, but like a little more weird, basically.
See, I learned of this from Red Letter Media, actually, from one of their movie reviews.
Their video about it is still one of my favorites to go back and rewatch.
Oh yeah, 100%. For good reason. It's the same reason we like Low Blow, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes, we love Low Blow. What about you, Myth?
I'm coming right out the box, and I'm saying this right off rip. Make sure you got your fork and your knife ready, and cut this sumbitch up, because I am about to slam it down with my review.
Oh boy!
I promise.
Oh hell
you
yes!
that.
Oh, he's bro's about to steal chair. He's ready to lay the smack down. So
every bit of this is bad.
Yeah, so we don't really have a structure for this yet, since this is kind of our first attempt at doing this. As things go on, we'll try and make this a little bit more organized. But today it's kind of an off-the-cuff discussion about the film. We're going to have some clips and screencasts from the movie. Editor Jasper's going to throw up as we bring him up. And we're just going to, cut the bullshit and jump right in, yeah?
Yeah, so...
Oh, yeah.
Let me go ahead...
The movie starts with, there's these two teenagers, ?
Young adults, maybe?
They're driving out to a party. And they have a conversation that consists of about 12 lines, but really it's only 2. Why are we going out to this party? It's so far. Or it's going to be a great time. Don't worry about it. But it's so far. Yeah, but it's going to be great. And they basically have this exchange about 4 times in 2 minutes. And then meanwhile, there's shots of Sasquatch standing up on a ridge, looking down at them. And then a minute later, he's on the side of the road, peeking out of a bush. It's how did he get over there? Did he teleport? Which is one of the first things you will notice about this movie when you're watching. The continuity in it is terrible.
Dialogue ain't better.
There's props that get moved around between shots. There's positioning is oftentimes neglected. And a lot of these scenes seem like they were one and dones. They didn't do a lot of takes of them, if at all.
Might also add that, by at least modern standards, the casting is absolutely dog crap terrible, too. The Native Americans in here is, an Iranian lady and, an old white man they found at the nursing home, and they threw a poncho over him. It's bad.
I'm 99% sure this was literally just, local people he rustled up and were like, hey, you want to be in a movie?
You look like a cop. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, exactly. So
Can we also talk about how bad the uniforms are really quick?
We'll get there. We'll get there. So they're going down. So they're driving, and then Bigfoot attacks the car. It's now. I also want to point out that I don't think David Waskovich attempted to make any kind of jury rig, any kind of like way to shoot this scene in the vehicle smartly. I legitimately think his solutions were: I'm going to sit in one seat and film the other person, or I'm going to have the window rolled down and walk alongside the car.
I think it was the latter. It's bad. It's slow.
Like, listen, you could have even just like duct taped the camera to the dashboard. You know, it's a low budget movie. Nobody's expecting a super expensive rig. It's just whatever gets the shot done, right? But he was like, yeah, I'm not even gonna try that.
No, it definitely has this almost home-cooked movie feel. Like, is this like a movie student's project movie?
It's just a step above of like the kind of shit you would make when you're like 12 and you get a camera and you're just fucking around in the backyard.
Nah, I'm not discrediting. No. We not doing that. I was good, all right? I had this under control at 12. We not doing that one. I won't stand for it.
No.
You're saying it's worse than that?
Have it. Listen to me. I'm usually soft-spoken, but I got about 10 fucking pages of complaints right here, all right? I ain't going for it. Tonight, I'm going to give you this energy. You guys usually don't hear from me.
No, I love it.
You're going to hear from me tonight.
Bring it.
We're going to start with page one.
Dude.
We're going to start with page one right now. Suburban Sasquatch. I'm letting y'all know how I felt right off the cuff. Low quality film, cheap costumes and effects, repetitive themes and script, horrible CGI, indoctrinating Native American culture, inconsistent plot holes in storyline, high school level comedy, non-existent blood, and then all of a sudden, excessive amounts of clearly not blood. All right?
I'm pretty sure there was actual
alluding to big
ketchup.
scoops, which are blatantly obvious, struggling reporter with just a desperate need to be in the limelight. All right, and that's the best thing about this movie so far. Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. I'll lean in on this reporter for a second. Okay,
yeah.
We get introduced to him and his. I'm guessing the cop was his friend at some point, and it says, "Hey, come down here. We have a big old scoop for you." So he hops up, he gets all dressed up, he goes down there, and then there's this douchebag cop that just continues to be a thorn in my ass. All right? The entire movie, okay? You didn't understand what the problem was until it was too late. But I'm not even going to lean into him yet. I'm going to keep going in on this fucking reporter. All right, listen, he gets down there, immediately gets told, "Hey, what you doing down here? You need to leave." And instead of having the balls to say, "Hey, your friend, your officer called me down here," he goes, "Listen, man, can you just give me a pass?" All right, listen to me very carefully. When you are going to be creating characters, and I don't care if it's a one-off character, you need to have some type of dialogue that gives me background information onto who the I'm looking at. All right, don't just give me somebody and expect me to know off the rip before they even talk that I'm just not gonna align with what I'm watching. All right, that's a very big thing.
You weren't kidding.
I'm brand new into the atmosphere of Bigfoot, and I promise you, for a movie review, you guys have lit a fire under my ass. All right? Okay. I have never been this vocal in these videos. You're going to hear it today.
I do too. So I'll at least say that there might be like 4 characters that might be important enough for you to actually remember and understand, right? There's like the 2 cops, right? There's the reporter. And then there's the Native American woman. Everybody else can basically be discounted or they die.
They're one-offs. Yeah.
I will also note my favorite character in this whole thing is one character that I remember reportedly ragging on, but I love the archetype. It's the hard-ass reporter boss, okay? He was my favorite. He was so dumb. He was like...
To be fair, he was the only person in the whole movie who could act worth a damn.
Oh yeah,
Accurate.
he tried.
Like it's the one scene in the movie where you actually want to pay attention because schlubby reporter guy is like, well, if you could just give me a little bit of money, I could do my story, and that's all I need to get started. And like I don't know, there's okay. So before I get back to like recapping what happens in the first scene, I do need to go in on the lead man a little bit.
The reporter?
Supposed to be, yeah, the reporter. I think the intention was he's just kind of like this plucky, underdog, right? But he comes off as like the wimpiest, lamest dude ever.
See, that's in my notes too. I said reporter is wimpy. Like that was literally the adjective in my notes too. I was like, God damn. Like this guy is like please, sir. Like he does understand that like reporters do get to like at least be on crime off the crime scene, but at least in the area, right? Like you don't have to at least kick rocks. But like
he had no idea of what his rights were.
But at the same time, he was like literally 5 feet away from a dude whose arm got ripped off and used to beat him to death with. You know what I mean?
Yes,
and like, it was goofy. Okay. However, that was just the first scene in this hodgepodge of crap.
No. So there's this one effect that stuck out in particular to me in that opening sequence. As they're driving, they see something rush across the road, and the best way I can describe the effect that was used to show Sasquatch running really fast across the road, this blob basically gets edited in, and it's just kind of dragged across the camera. And
like
two people in the car go,
editor.
And the car go, people in the car go, huh, what was that? And then that's when Sasquatch jumps out like right after in what was honestly a really avoidable attack. It's like the guy stops the car the moment Sasquatch comes out. Like, if I saw Sasquatch come out of the bushes at my car, coming straight for my door, I would have put my, pedal to the, I would have floored it.
Like, right, the most valuable
Sasquatch
thing you got is that giant metal thing.
he punches out the window and grabs the driver guy and pulls him out through the window, and then he just starts ripping limbs off of him. And this is something that happens anytime there's a Sasquatch attack in the movie. Like, the camera will, like, pull away, and you'll just see limbs flying up into the air.
With the craziest sounding effects of Bigfoot devouring limbs that are obviously just, oh, man, we go ahead.
Yeah, they're like rubber prop arms.
Uh-huh.
And so he decapitates this guy, and then he goes around. Oh, this is after he beats him to death with his own limbs, mine. And he goes around and then he attacks the girl and he kills her by like just kind of shoving her. Yeah.
Right.
And then that's when the whole scene with like the reporter, and he comes down to the crime scene. I need to go in on these cops especially because these are the only two characters. These are two of the 3 characters in the movie who actually require having a costume, because everybody's just random people, so they can literally just show up with whatever clothes they have, right? They couldn't even like afford to go to like to the party store and get like some proper cop costumes. They just got like some beige button ups. They put like some tape on the shoulders, and then they had enough money to get like some handcuff props, but they didn't have anything to hang from those. They just cuffed the handcuffs to their belt loops. But the best part about this is they had enough for like pistol props.
Yeah.
Enough for holsters for them. So anytime these two guys are out on a scene, they just have their guns. And they're just holding
in their hands or in their pockets, like straight up, like not even like the inner carry, you know what I mean? Like
nope, not even like the waistband carry or anything. Like
no,
that. It's just hold the gun. I don't care, you know.
Like he's pointing it at a dead body. You know what I mean? At one point,
they point these things all over the place too.
It's
which has a bunch of good old boys from the South drives us all up the wall.
It's like ooh. Love it. Now, the next one that I want to really talk about is the little, what we call it, the Timmy scene.
Well, hang on. there's one other thing about this scene that I love. So while the cops are walking around and looking at the dead bodies, the guy who got his head ripped off magically regrows his head.
Yes,
and his other limbs too.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It misplaces, and then in between shots, it disappears or goes over to where the woman's body is. And they just have one hand prop or something.
And so, yeah, no. So the scene after that, Sasquatch, there's these two guys just fishing at a stream. And this is one of the first times that the movie attempts to ham-fist an environmental message into it. Because these two guys are fishing and they're talking about oh man, I haven't been catching as much fish here lately ever since that big development got started working on that big highway. And, because the movie really, 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 really wants to be about about man as a destructive force and how nature is slowly shrinking because of man's expansion. The theme tries really hard to go in, especially on themes of consumption and capitalism, and it's so clumsy. It comes off as a middle schooler desperately trying to write a theme for their English paper. And so these two fisher guys are there, they're fishing, they're drinking some beers, and then Squatch just kind of stumbles out of the bushes, which is a common theme. That poor suit actor could not see out of that suit worth a damn. And the first thing you notice, because this is the first time you actually get a good look at Squatch, he has huge fucking tits. His tits are
I was about to say, you can't not talk about that when you look at that movie. They spent the whole budget on that suit on the man boobies. What's going on?
Yeah, and they put bigger ref nipples on it and everything.
I mean, it was insane. You can't even call that a Spirit Halloween Squatch suit, because it ain't. I've seen those. It's a custom suit.
Yeah, the production bonus features do say that was a suit they made for the movie. But it's really, this was the best you could put together?
Freaking rough, bro. But the fisherman scene, the kill scene for them is my favorite, because it straight up rips the dude's arm off, hits him with it, then throws it at the other dude, and then undiscriminate amount of time later, that guy that got the arm thrown at him passed out, landed in the creek, wakes up, and then he goes on to do stuff later. It's just there's no sense of time in this movie at all either.
And of course, the continuity between those two moments is here, because when the attack happens, he lands in the water face down, and you just assume he's dead, because he's totally motionless face down in the water. And then when the movie comes back to him, he's now floating in the water face up, and he'd actually been passed out the whole time, and he drags himself onto shore.
And this man's Poseidon or something, or a part catfish. I don't know. I mean,
okay. And so then after that's the little Timmy scene, and that's the one you wanted to talk about.
Yes. So Myth, real quick, you got anything to add real fast before we get into one of my favorite scenes in this movie?
Excuse me, I'm gonna ask you this once. Can I rip?
I mean, yeah, go on.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Rip, buddy.
All right, fuck it. Let's go. All right. So first off, to give more detailed description as to what they're talking about in the specific fishing scene, okay? Like they said, the continuity in this movie is just atrocious. It's all over the place. So you watch somebody get their arm ripped off. They get beat to death with said arm. That same arm gets launched at the chest of the other person. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. Viewing audience, listen to what I'm saying to you. Something hits you in your chest. Do you go backwards or do you go forward? Let me save you the time. He falls fucking forward, all right? Now, I've been hitting my chest full force, okay? I went backwards, all right? I'm just not understanding. But we're not even going to deep dive into that. That's not that big of a deal. My issue is this. In the same scene where he falls into that water, when however much time has passed, it is daytime. Then 2 seconds later, it is nighttime. In the same scene that he got up. So, am I supposed to believe that the sun was setting as he rose back out of the water?
And not to mention,
No!
it's really hard to understand what night is in this movie because they didn't really have the budget to have the lights for night shots, so they just threw a filter on day shots instead.
They do a lot of day for night, and none of it looks any good.
No.
Now listen, day for night is doable if you're smart about it. The main thing about day for night is that you record right before, like, either early in the morning or right before evening, so you still got sunlight, but the sunlight isn't bright enough that it's, like, they instead said, we're going to shoot this in the middle of the afternoon and throw a filter over and call it a day. Now, day for night has never really been one of the greatest, like, tricks when it comes to editing, but, like, it feels like they didn't even try. It's so bad.
Or it was like a new tool to them, and they just thought it was so cool they were just going to use it or something. It felt like either or. Now, like, let's go ahead and get into the Timmy scene, okay?
Timmy scene, yes.
Boy.
Talk about it. Tell me about it.
Now, the fun part,
Timmy's
the suburban part of Suburban Sasquatch, like we kind of got into before, is mostly about the commentary between civilization encroaching on nature, right? Like, this director thought he was prophetic almost in a way when he made this movie. Whenever you get into, like, the director cut and the interviews for this dude shot this 100% serious. That's my favorite part of this movie, okay? Because it's so comedically bad that, like, the fact he shot that with a straight face the whole time just makes it even more hysterical to me. I don't know. That's just me. But whenever you get into the Timmy scene, this is like one of those like horror movie scenes that they just threw a Bigfoot in there instead of the big bad guy. You know what I mean? Because as we've talked about before on the show, there's not a whole lot of aggressive Sasquatch behavior that can be considered like on the level of, say, the Cowman affidavit, right? Where a Bigfoot actually goes and rushes somebody, let alone makes physical contact with somebody, you know? And then that just so happens to be a child while the father's trying to defend him, right? So maybe this had something to do with that. I'm not sure. I really don't think so. But little Timmy's in the backyard in his suburban home, and he's playing with his ball, right? Doing little Timmy things. And the mom is in the kitchen doing, you know, parental stuff. So Bigfoot's just chilling, trying to run around, see what's going on, right? You see the big, nasty, gnarly Bigfoot hand. That's another thing I want to bring up about this movie. They are not at all scared to show you the suit, okay? It's like one of the horror tropes is either you don't show the suit hardly at all, or if it's really good, you show that thing off, you know what I'm saying? They must have thought the Bigfoot suit was good because they showed this weird man-tittied thing off so much. And every part of it, too.
Putting myself in the shoes of an amateur filmmaker, I'm making my monster movie, and I have my own monster suit. And, you know, it was probably the most expensive thing about the movie. I'm going to do my damnedest to have that thing on screen as much as possible. Now, granted, there's a part of me that wonders if David Waskovich kind of knew the suit was ugly, but went ahead with it anyways, because, like, he couldn't afford to get a new one made.
Yeah, that's more than fair, too.
This is all speculation because, like, what he talks about mostly in the behind-the-scenes stuff is mainly about his writing process for the movie rather than the production itself.
True. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no. So Sasquatch is in the bushes. There's just a little boy out there playing with, like, a ball or whatever. He's doing a horrible job at playing soccer. He's trying to dribble and he's sucking at it because it's really funny how bad he is at it.
Like everybody.
His mom is inside, not giving a shit, doing whatever. She wasn't really doing anything in particular. And Bigfoot's just standing in the bushes watching this kid. And it's really creepy, but not in the way the movie wants you to find it creepy, as in, like, oh my god, this little boy's in danger. It's more like,
what's this dude watching this kid in the bushes kind of creepy?
Hey, yo, is Sasquatch on the list? Like,
yeah, right. Quite a bit. It's not good.
So, there's a very voyeuristic feeling to the way that Squatch is standing there. And he shifts positions a couple of times before he finally tries to approach the kid. So the kid runs inside, and he goes to get his mom, and he's like, "Mom, there's a monster outside." And one of my favorite lines in the movie is said here, and I specifically wrote it down. She says, "Monsters are not real, like the boogeyman and your father."
One of the few times the jokes hit, I guess. It's like,
oh
whoa.
my god!
Well, that
So
answers that
goes,
question.
So she shoos him off, and little Timmy goes back outside to play a little reluctantly, and then Sasquatch comes out, and he starts screaming, and his mom comes outside. Now, let's stop for a moment. You are a mother of like an 8-year-old boy. You see a giant hairy thing approaching your child. You've just left the house. The front door is like within walking distance. Do you A, grab your child, rushing him inside and lock the door? B, grab your child, run to the car and get out of there? Or C, stand in between the monster and your child and do effectively nothing?
No, she brought a broomstick. Okay.
Oh, that's right. She brought a broomstick.
She brought
that's
the force multiplier, and if it was a
Yeah.
traditional mom situation, it might have worked. Maybe if it was a dog, or maybe if you're one of them southern moms in bear country and you got that shit about you, maybe that'd work too then. But not against Bigfoot.
But this. I'm pretty sure this was filmed in like Wisconsin or Michigan or something like that.
That's what it feels like to me.
And so she don't got that.
No.
And so this mom gets brutally beaten by Sasquatch, and then he drags her off. And the movie, I will admit, the movie did make me feel a little sorry for this little kid, because the cops show up.
He's distraught.
Yeah, and the little kid's distraught, and he's sitting there in the backseat, and one of the cops tries to talk. He's like, what happened? What happened? What happened? And the kid is like doing his best to do like a shell-shocked expression, and he says something about like Bigfoot got her or whatever. In a good horror movie, this will be like the bum bum bum, moment where you finally know what the monster is or whatever. It has no impact in this movie whatsoever.
No, it takes like, in mind, this is an hour and a half no ads movie, so this is a chunker. Okay.
Yeah.
It takes like a full hour to really get it across to everybody, besides like the 4 main characters here, that this might actually be true, Which, going back to the news boss guy, give me some photos. That's what I want. Okay. I
want those photos of Spider-Man on my desk by 5.
Exactly. Exactly. Now.
I just realized we forgot to talk about the scene where the actual hero of the movie is introduced.
Oh, yeah. The Native American girl.
The Native American girl. So, part of the reason we were complaining about Day for Night is because there's this shot that's... Okay, so the scene is set in secret, sacred, ancient Native American land, and they're very clearly sitting in, like, a park.
Yeah. Like, maybe even at the senior home where they got the guy to do the acting.
And so they have, like, the most stereotypical teepee you can imagine. And then they have a campfire. We have our Indian girl, who is, as we went on record earlier, is not a Native American. David Waskovich was like, I need somebody that's vaguely ethnic and has like slightly brown skin, and he just like grabbed the first woman he could find and called it a day.
Yeah, like, she tried the most out of this movie to be acting, other than the news boss guy, and it was just. It would not have survived today's climate. Let's put it that way. Bad casting, for sure.
And then there's her chief, or her grandfather, or something. It's an old white guy that they've wrapped like a poncho or around or whatever. And for whatever fucking reason, during this scene, you see more close-ups of his lips than you do actually of him, and it's really gross because it's a gross old man.
Well, you know what it reminds me of? Do you remember David Cameron in Low Blow? How they had him like literally in a chair in a robe the whole time, just saying his lines, and they had a stunt double to have him move out of the chair. Yeah, it was like that kind of energy, like the exact same kind. I love it. Or like Steven Seagal in Sniper Special Ops, when he's just 4/5 of the movie, he's just in the chair talking. Mm-hmm. It's not good. Now, Oh gosh. So he sends her on this quest, right? Like apparently this is some rite of passage for this tribe in order
and
to
to help her,
hunt them.
And to help her, he gives her a familiar, which is an eagle.
And like a
This
bow
eagle
and
does
arrow.
nothing. Yeah, he gives her a bow and arrow, and he gives her familiar, and she's like, "All right, go on your fishing quest or whatever." It's the most racist shit ever. And I had to go because I had some calling, but I've seen the movie before, so I think he talked about it. But the only the scene she appears again in another scene right after Timmy's mom gets kidnapped or whatever, and she's just kind of fucking around doing I don't know what, maybe foraging for herbs or something, I don't know. And the eagle is circling up above her and going, and she's talking at it, and it doesn't mean anything. It adds nothing to the movie.
Like, do you remember that old series Beastmaster?
Yeah!
Yeah. Like, it's that level of CGI, but, like, crank that back, like, 3 more years. Like, I really think...
Beastmaster looks like... Beastmaster looks like Jurassic Park in comparison to this movie.
Oh, I know. Like, it really feels like the editing software for this movie was, like, Windows Movie Maker 2000. Is kind of how it feels. Now, let's go ahead and see here. Myth, what are you thinking, bud?
The one fact that they forgot to bring up was the magical arrows. The properties of these arrows are able to shift in dimension with our reality warping Sasquatch.
Ooh.
But I'll pass it back to them to go ahead and let them
the
take
Sasquatch is like
that.
extra dimensional or something. I don't know.
Yep.
It gets crazy.
I will tell you a magic power that it does have is that it magically has the ability to manifest a box to stand on whenever it's menacing somebody.
Yes. And he'll like slowly get up on that box too. You know what I mean?
Like there's one shot that this movie loves to do because they couldn't actually get anybody tall to play Sasquatch. So what they do instead is anytime he's menacing somebody, they shoot his victim from behind. And then they put, like, an apple crate or something for him to stand on. And they put him up on the crate. And they just kind of make him stand up, like, straighten his back out. And go, eh. So it's the shot of him, like, menacing. And then they go, ah. Then he does. And then he goes about his business, like, mutilating them or whatever. And he's suddenly a foot shorter.
Can we just bring up how bad the Sasquatch vocalization is, too? And they just play this.
This is the perfect time to bring up the sound effects for the Sasquatch, yes. Okay, let's all take turns doing our best to describe what they sound like. To me, they sound like the drunken mumblings of a vagrant passed out on the sidewalk.
Oh, I got one better. Do you remember that old toy that we all had when we were kids that it was like old McDonald's, like farm animals that you could point the arrow to, and on the back you could wind it up?
Yeah.
It was like you had that. Yeah, exactly. Except like they made a Bigfoot one, and then it was just, you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to wind it up, but you're like a 3-year-old, so you can't really do it consistently, so you're just doing it at all paces you can get your hands on it with.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what it sounds like to me. What about you, man? What do you think?
Honestly, it's an elderly man with constipation. That's all I heard. That's all I heard every time.
Yeah, that's great.
That's a good one.
So the movie has precisely 2 different sound clips that it uses for Sasquatch anytime he's attacking. One is more like kind of like a growl, and then one's a roar. Now the thing is, typically in movies when your monster makes sound effects, they usually make a whole bevy of sound effects for them, and there's like a signature one that they use, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but they will usually have some other noises they make, like for instance, bring up Jurassic Park again because that's just the first thing that pops in my mind. For example, the Velociraptors have that like barking that they do, right, when they're talking to each other, but then they also like hiss, you know, and they roar and stuff like that. Like they have a bevy of sound effects that they use for them. They only have the 2, and to make up for the lack of sound effects they have for Bigfoot, they just loop the clip over and over again, and it's the most like blatant looping ever. They don't try to blend it or anything.
Let me see if I can get the sound right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try it out here.
Yeah.
Like that's all you hear.
That's literally that's exactly what it sounds like.
Yep.
And then editing Jaster put up a clip from the movie here for comparison.
Yep.
not that. Like dead, wet, spoiled meat or something. Hey, don't bother. It's probably just a grouse or something. Hey, stop farting around. Dave!
That's a number 1A gold star rated impersonation of a Bigfoot right there. I promise. Yeah. Take that to a Bigfoot call at a convention. You'll get first place every time. I tell you what. But that's the kind of sound design we've got in this movie. Like, it is not a... If you're a sound engineer or a sound guy, not your movie. Not even a little bit.
No.
If you like good quality stories, not your movie. If you like good quality characters, not your movie.
If you hate all these things, right? And you like movies where it's so bad it's funny, like me, it's your movie.
Oh, no, this is absolutely the kind of movie that, like, you sit down with, like a pack of beers with the friends and,
some
like,
pizza.
You know, some takeout pizza you got, and you just sit there and laugh at it, you know? So... The next scene is, and the reason you may know is we're jumping from scene to scene here, it's because there's not really a narrative in this movie.
No transitions either.
There's no transitions. Things just kind of constantly happen, and about 80% of the things that happen in this movie are
unprompted.
Like vignettes of Bigfoot attacking somebody. So after the second scene with Native American girl, does the fisherman wake up, or do we have a scene, or did they do the scene where he attacks the two hiking lesbians?
No, so that actually,
I thought those two ran congruently. Like, honestly,
they take place around the same time.
The two ladies getting attacked was later, chronologically in the movie. It was about the same time in the actual plot, but first it was the dude waking up face down in the river after an undisclosed amount of time, just waterboarding himself.
He was face up in the river.
Well, no, he was face up. Actually, I was watching this because I'm recording the B-roll. That's even better. I'll correct everybody here. Actually, what happened is he fell asleep face up in the river, you know, with his back up, floating like normal.
No.
When he woke up...
I'm going to correct you here. I mentioned this when we talked about this scene. So when he throws his friend's arm, when Bigfoot throws his friend's arm at him and knocks him into the river, he falls in face forward and he just floats there like he's dead. And then when it cuts back to him, he's floating face up in a different position.
I'll throw it up here real quick. It's either way, it's freaking hilarious because either way is
continuity.
Bad.
No continuity.
So. He wakes up, he crawls himself up onto shore, and he's wandering in through the woods, and he finds this cave, all right? And what's he find in this cave? A beat-up old Timmy's mom, okay? And he's freaking out, and he's like, oh, let me help you, all this stuff, and he starts hearing Bigfoot, and he's like, oh,
well, first,
bye.
You neglect to mention that he pulls a flashlight out of his ass.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this isn't like a small flashlight either. This is like the industrial flashlight that, nighttime, like, guards at museums have. These are the big ones you can, like, club people with. So they found an actual cave somewhere in the woods to use for the exterior, and then the interior of it is a basement, and they hung up a bunch of garbage bags on the wall.
Yeah, it's either that or a tarp, a really crappy Walmart tarp.
Yeah, and the whole time he is shining the flashlight directly in the face of Timmy's mom.
Oh yeah.
But what's funny is, so he hears Sasquatch approaching, and he's like, "Oh shit, I gotta get out of here!" And he runs away. But then it cuts back to Timmy's mom still like struggling. She's not even like tied up or anything, if I remember correctly. She's just kind of there, right?
No, he used like plants, to kind of like tie him up. Yeah, he used like vines or something.
So it cuts back to her struggling, and be like, "No, don't go!" And the flashlight's still right on her face.
He left it too. He was like, bye, see ya. And that was the last time we ever saw Timmy's mom. And that was it.
She doesn't come back in the movie?
Nope.
I can
No,
picture she gets
actually,
rescued at the end
no,
or
she
something.
doesn't. The other lady that gets kidnapped does. Because remember, one of the two hiking
That's
lesbians
right!
gets kidnapped.
That's right. He kidnaps two people.
Yeah,
Oh my
and so
God.
Timmy's mom disappears. And so
I guess he just ate her or something.
I guess that's the implication because there's a bunch of
Which
just...
really begs the question why Sasquatch bothered to tie her up. Anyways,
I know, right?
if he was just
It was
gonna eat her,
alluding
would
to
he
something
die?
more dark than eating her.
I do not want to believe that the movie tried to say that Timmy's mom.
No, I think
Listen,
no, I think
man.
Mitt's right. Honestly, I think he's
like
right.
they were trying to allude to it because the guy goes when he encounters Timmy's mom, he goes, "Oh my God, what happened to you?" And she's just sitting there. She's like, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe what he's done to me." And it's just like, what are you talking about?
It's like she's not beat up. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
she- yeah,
it ain't
no,
like
she's
she's
sore from
splayed
the
on
back
her or
end.
nothing. No, it's like, that's really not good. That's some Goblin Slayer stuff going on in that cave. I ain't about
Right.
that.
Boy.
Like, it's not good.
So, all right. So this is from this here on out is where I'm going to need your help, Jasper. So the last scene that I remember is the hiking lesbians, and the reason I call them the hiking lesbians is because there's just something about the way these two women dress that just made me go, these are lesbians. Like, and I know that's really crude and a little offensive to say, but like, that's just the.
It's the vibe. It's the vibe.
Just the vibe.
It is.
The way they're talking to each other, the way they're looking at each other. As some people like to say, there's no heterosexual explanation for this.
No, not for the way that they're dressed either. Is it like?
No.
There's no.
Because like they're very, like it's very stereotypical like butch lesbian outfits.
Not hiking
And
outfits in any way, shape, or
They're
form.
not even hiking outfits. That's what's weird about it. Because like one of them's wearing like cut off like denim shorts and a crop top, if I remember right.
And it's the most outdoorsy looking. I mean, they're outdoors, but they're not hiking. You know, not when they're out supposed to be going out in the national
this is
park.
more like the kind of outfit you would put on if you're going to like the rec center to climb the rock wall.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
And then Sasquatch, he jumps out and he starts attacking them. He claws the back of one of them, and they're running, and then one of them falls over because it's a horror movie and we have a chase scene. Somebody has to fall over. Like in all movies where somebody falls over in the middle of a chase, she forgets how all of her limbs work, and Sasquatch comes up on her and just rips her apart. So then he's still chasing the other girl, and there's this really funny bit where there's just this tree that fell across the path, and rather than like filming anywhere else, David Waskovich was like, no, that's good, let's use that. So he makes that poor woman like climb over that while she's running, and then the poor suit actor for Sasquatch also has to climb over it.
I
And
know.
it just totally kills the pace of the scene.
There's so much weird stuff going on in here, man. All the time. Like, there's that, and then, like, it starts to hop back and forth because this is the point where the Native American lady is actively engaging with Bigfoot in almost every scene now.
The first fight scene with him, yeah.
Yeah.
So lesbian number 2, she manages to make it off the trail and run back to the car, but she can't get the right key now. And Sasquatch is coming. Here comes Native American girl to the rescue.
No, I don't know
like,
if she actually rescues her or not. I don't think she does.
See, so that's what I'm about to joke about is she takes approximately 4 business days to knock an arrow, and in that time Sasquatch catches up to lesbian number 2 and kills her, I think, or is that?
Oh yeah, rips her apart. Like,
yeah, he rips her apart, and so then Native American girl finally gets an arrow notched, and she misses. And
As
I
he
love the
phases
shot.
out of reality. As he
there's-
phases out of reality.
Which is when the movie goes, by the way, he's magical.
yeah, the stance of Bigfoot as a creature is evolutionary in this movie. Almost what you would call transcendential, right?
Mm-hmm.
And where, like, it was looking in the beginning like a very bodily creature, and by the time that you get to the end of it, like, this dude is like freaking like the third, or what was it, the fourth Hokage in Naruto, where he's like straight up like flashing across the battlefield and stuff.
Yes.
Like, she's having to lead her shots because Bigfoot's phasing through, like he's teleporting. Like
one of my favorite shots in the movie is actually right here in this parking lot scene when she tries to shoot him. They do this thing where this is a pretty common technique in movies when they want to show like an arrow flying or something. You can see this in Friday the 13th Part 3, the one that was in 3D, where it's in basically what they'll do. They have an arrow and they'll create a little notch on the top of it so it can be run along a track line, and they'll put up some fishing wire. And then they'll just suspend that above whoever's firing it, and then in the fishing wire at whoever's going to get hit. And then right before it reaches the end, they cut to whoever gets hit, and that's when they do the special effect for that, right? They do that here, but it's like a really sloppy version of it because it bounces all over the place.
Yeah. And then it ends up hitting like the roof, the window of the car, and bouncing away.
And it just kind of bounces off.
Breaks actually, because like the reporter guy later, after he shows up late and gets almost ran off by the cops, he sees it and picks it up, and that kind of becomes his like deus ex machina almost to get engaged with the story and actually just say, you know what, I'm just gonna run off with this lady here who's fighting the Bigfoot, and then I'm gonna get a story. So he starts living in the woods with her at this point. And now they're chasing Bigfoot, okay? They're going scene to scene, fighting this thing. Now, she's getting, like, I don't know, like a 50% shot rate off at this point, right? Like, you would hope that if you're a hunter that you would spend more time behind your weapon. But, like, I don't know. It's a interdimensional creature at this point. So, like, maybe she is good, and maybe he's that good. You know what I mean? I could be crazy. Now, this is where we need to go back to Reporter Dude, okay? His character art is not great, alright? Like, I don't know. There's not much more backbone that ever gets brought into this character at any point in time. Like, maybe in the sense that he makes decisions for himself, but never in the way that he expresses the fact that he's made those decisions for himself. Does that make sense, Kaz?
Yeah.
Like, he starts making decisions, but he's like, well, maybe I'm going to do this instead. And then he goes and does it, which is good for him, but it's like, ooh, the acting's never strong. And it's weird because, like, the awkward nature between the lady and him, like the main protag, the main female protag, it is not acted in any way. Like, it's just that awkward, I think, honestly. Like, the acting's that bad, the dialogue's that bad. It just feels awkward. It feels like teenage kids in the hallway between classes trying to flirt with each other. That's how it feels sometimes. Now, at this point, we kind of got to go back and establish the police officers, right? Because, like, they've been chasing this case the whole time. And unlike a lot of police departments, they're not talking like, no, that's just a bear. Internally, right? Like, internally, they're like, there's something weird going on here. We got to figure this out the whole time, right? There's a reason for that. Turns out, the bald-headed guy, or, well, the military shaved hair kind of guy, the bigger dude, turns out, Sheriff Man lost his wife to Bigfoot back in the day. Back in, like, Washington, I believe. And he moved out here to get away from it. And now, Bigfoot's back. And that's why he's been acting so weird this whole movie, okay? It's because he's got PTSD. And Bigfoot killed his wife. Now, that explains some things. But now that we're actively engaged, and now that the police officers are on the same page and they're ready to rock bro cop style, it doesn't really get much better. It just means that, like, at least they're both in the same direction and communicating, which that's cool. That's some nice character interaction. But what we really just got was just a flashback scene. You know what I mean? Which, I don't know. Watching that weird freaking suit slowly meander across their front lawn while she's sitting there on that, like, swing is just goofy because she's like, what is that? You know, and it's like, I don't know. The only thing you can see somewhat clearly is just a giant set of man titties on this thing from across the yard. But
I want to bring up my favorite of the two cops is the deputy, because I swear to God, you'll never find a thinner man in existence. He is swimming in his costume
the whole time,
and they have that belt drawn as tight as possible on him. And this is the guy that's friends with Wimpy Reporter guy, and he's the one that's the thing about Sheriff Guy that we're leaving out is that Sheriff Guy doesn't actually do a lot in the movie, despite having the personal tie to Sasquatch, because it's Deputy Guy who interviews shell-shocked Timmy. It's Deputy Guy who finds Fisherman passed out in the park bathroom because he saw Bigfoot or whatever. I don't know. I
no, actually, that was the sheriff. Like I said, I've been watching this in the background while we're talking about it.
Yeah.
The sheriff guy actually saw the dude in the bathroom. Now, the other guy basically did everything else out on the field, though, but he is the patrol cop, right? The other dude is the guy that he's in the office or he's out looking actively at calls or whatever. Now, like I said, they have this moment where they recollect and everything, and, really skinny officer guy who's swimming in his drawers over here, he's all tearing up, because now he's like, oh man, boss man actually isn't a prick. Maybe he's just gone through some stuff, and he's like, the sheriff's over here crying. They don't know what to do. And all of a sudden they're like, we got to figure this out. We got to do this together. So they bring the good old American solution to Bigfoot, firepower. You know what I'm saying?
Firepower. That's right.
All right. So at this point, I think we're kind of caught up with everything that's been going on so far in this movie. It's kind of goofy. Yeah, because you got to string it together. Like, you're spending more time trying to figure that out than what's actually going on.
So there is one more kill scene that I would like to bring attention to before we kind of wrap the movie up, and then we kind of give our thoughts overall and whether or not we recommend it. It's the scene where Bigfoot attacks the guy in the driveway. Oh my God, we haven't even brought up the ladies in the SUV yet.
Ooh, that was a good one. There's him throwing the police car. I'll throw a clip of that one up there because that one's absolutely ridiculous.
What the fuck is that? John.
It looks like a bear, John.
It's like real. It's just big and hairy and.
It's not a bear. Are you on him? How big is he?
Oh wait, dear God is coming right at me! John! John, what is it? John, what is it? John!
Steve, what's going on?
There's so much nonsense in this movie. It's hard to describe it because, like, where do you start?
Yeah.
Because it's hard to talk about the story of this movie in a linear manner because it's just a random events plot. But yeah, there's a guy who's, like, changing out the brake discs of his truck in his driveway or whatever. Now, mind you, the movie at this point has established that Bigfoot is mad at humanity because mankind is destroying nature, and this is supposed to be nature taking its revenge. The problem is that up to this point, it's been mostly framing its victims as people who are interfering with nature. Because, oh, well, these fishermen are fishing in the stream, therefore they're interfering with nature. Oh, these women are hiking in the woods, they're interfering with nature. The attitude this movie has is that nature should never be touched ever, actually, and mankind needs to fuck off. Because even the mere presence of somebody in nature is completely destructive, and therefore we should never try to interact with nature ever. And we should never ever go outside ever again and basically rot inside our homes and die. Because all mankind can do is consume and destroy. But the problem with this is this guy's literally just minding his business in his fucking driveway, working on his truck.
And just gets stomped out for it.
And Bigfoot comes up. There's another one of those lovely apple crate scenes. But this time, I'm pretty sure they stacked 2 apple crates. Because the guy has to look up at Bigfoot.
And he's kind of a bigger guy. Like...
Yeah. Like, this is... Yeah. They were like, shit, we gotta compensate for how tall this guy is. So they just put another apple crate for Bigfoot to stand on. Who cares? And so the guy drops both of the brake discs. And then if I remember correctly, Bigfoot tears him in half.
No, I don't remember exactly how that goes. I'll throw the scene up in there. But they take out one dude in basically in stealth mode because the other guy who's underneath the truck doesn't realize it and he has to get pulled out by Bigfoot.
Yeah, and then I remember what happens now. He rips one of the guy's heads off, and then he drinks the blood from the guy.
Oh yeah,
and
right.
They play the grossest,
drinking sound,
slurping sound to represent him drinking it down too.
It's like damn near the Minecraft
because the quality
sound.
of the sound effect that they use for the slurping it down is
terrifying.
not very good. It's like
bad.
Okay, if the movie was shot in 480p, this sound effect is 180p. It's so crunchy.
It's really bad.
It's really bad.
Now, after this, we're getting back into the plot of we got to do something about this Bigfoot, right? And now that the police are on the case, and now that the Native American girl and the reporter guy's on the case, we should be getting somewhere, right? Well, no, because apparently what ended up beating Bigfoot at the end of the day was a bunch of hunters with a net. That was it. Do you remember? I don't know if you're that clear with it, but at the end, it really was. They started shooting Bigfoot and everything. It was doing good. They started getting beat up, so they get back. They start launching a counterattack on Bigfoot, and then one of them gets the net on him, throwing the net on him, and they just got him. These magical enchanted arrows this whole time was the only thing that was doing it besides laying consistent gunfire on this thing, and then it just gets taken out by a net. Okay.
A net that they made CG for some reason.
Yeah, it's got this weird wave to it. I don't
And
know.
mind you, we have not brought this up, but I'm sorry. I've been quiet. I just want to bring this up right quick, and then I'll shut back up.
No, actually, go on, because I need to fix some plates real quick.
All right, perfect. So I'm just going to list off a number of different supernatural powers that this Sasquatch has the entire
Go for it.
movie. All right?
Go for it.
All right, so stick with me here. Paralysis, hypnosis, teleportation, dimensional phasing, gliding, misconjuration, invisibility, and just completely rewriting history and warping reality.
Don't forget the typical Bigfoot, super strength, super speed.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. And then just absurd amounts of physical strength that is beyond the capacity of human comprehension, aka super strength.
Yeah, because we mentioned earlier, at one point he literally flips the police car, which I think is one of the more impressive things about the movie. Not that they flipped the police car, that the movie was actually able to get a police car to use.
I don't think that actually was a police car.
There is a police car. Yeah.
No, yeah, no, I know what you're saying, but I'm saying I think the
car that gets flipped definitely isn't one.
Yeah.
But they do have a police car that they
you're talking about the one that they were cruising around in. Okay, no, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then I'm not even going to end there. We're going to talk about the Native American woman's superpowers, because apparently she had some too.
Everybody knows. I mean, come on. Everybody knows that Native Americans have superpowers. Come on.
Come on, man. We ain't even about to go there, bro. I'm talking about the movie. I ain't talking about reality. She's got self-revival capabilities, aimbot, except for when she's aiming at fucking Bigfoot.
Yep.
She has supernatural clairvoyance. And then what was the last one I wrote down?
She can talk to animals.
Yes, that was the last one I wrote down. It is just, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, listen, I understand that in the realm of reality, these things can look realistic, but the way this movie did it made it unjustifiably horrible. Okay.
I'm gonna pile another one on top of that. Actually, I'm pretty sure the movie gives her night vision. I don't have any proof for this, but a lot of her scenes take place at night, and not even in. And also, the incredibly dark Bigfoot cave, in which I'm assuming it's supposed to be dark, because, again, Fisher guy has to use a flashlight.
But she can see everything plain as day.
Just plain without it, yeah. But
not just her, but the reporter as well.
But see, that also makes me want to chalk it up to just poor continuity and bad writing.
Right. Now, like, it doesn't get better from start to finish, right? Like, the ending's just as clunky.
So before we describe the ending, there's one last scene I do want to talk about because, like, it's the movie's biggest attempt at talking about the themes that it's trying to. There's a scene where you see these two soccer moms driving in, like, a really expensive SUV. Or about as expensive as an SUV as they could get for the production. So, and the movie tries very hard to make these two soccer moms, like, the embodiment of everything that's wrong with humanity in this scene. And I'll tell you why. They're eating hot dogs and they have chandeliers in the trunk.
Oh, yeah. The chandeliers is my favorite part, because it's just, like, the hot dogs is random enough, right? Like, they are ultra focusing on the hot dog consumption. Like, they're on their way out from Sam's Club or Costco or something. And, like...
I'm gonna say Costco, because, I mean...
Yeah, that's the more famous hot dog,
Costco
right?
hot dog. And so, they're driving and they're eating the hot dogs, and the movie wants you to know they're eating the hot dogs, because they get close-ups of them eating these hot dogs. Every shot of them talking to each other, they have the hot dogs in their hand conspicuously in the shot. Like, the movie is, like... It's not very subtle, but the problem with it is normally I can excuse a movie being unsubtle with its themes if the themes are worth a damn. The problem is the movie's not even sure if it's the own themes. Because
right.
This is about as good as it gets when it comes to gesturing at the themes it's trying to convey. And the only reason we know the themes it's trying to convey is because they are shoved into the dialogue at every possible chance. I mentioned it during the scene with the fishers. And then these two women are talking about shopping and nothing else, because that's all women do: eat hot dogs and shop. And then they get attacked by Bigfoot. It goes about exactly as you would expect it to. And the movie depicts it the same way it depicts all the other Bigfoot attacks. But I think at this point the movie wants you to be on Bigfoot's side, because it's like, yeah, Bigfoot, fight for nature or whatever, and like that's not. It's a violent, murderous,
animal
rapist,
creature thing,
cannibalistic thing from another dimension, you know. So the ending, right? Tell me about the ending, Jaster.
Okay, so at this point, they done got Bigfoot beat up, right? Like, they went on this big old tirade where the cops are getting beat up. They're trying to beat up Bigfoot, and the Native American lady and the reporter are hiding out in a bush after trying to engaging it in a field. And then we get this weird shot that kind of reminds me of that Bigfoot sighting movie. Remember when those two dudes are like running across the field with the woods in the back? And then all of a sudden a Bigfoot-like creature streaks off behind them. It reminds me of that location. But Native American lady summons like a swarm of crows and just commands them down on it, and it disappears off into the sunset, right? And then that's whenever it gets chased into an encounter with these hunters, and they end up blowing it up with the guns, throwing the net on it, and that's the end of it, right? So, other than that, we got some character resolutions, you know what I mean? We got the cops that are like, you know what, we've protected our community. We've done our job.
Bullshit!
You know what I'm saying?
A bunch of people are dead.
They're like, you know, we figured this out. You know what I'm saying? We've got a whole series of people, like, getting Bigfoot stories on the news. So I guess the news guy's happy. I guess Boss Man's happy at the end of the day. But we don't know for sure, because newspaper reporter man wandered off into the woods with the female lead, never to be seen again, which I guess is, in today's economy, kind of a base decision. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
He was like, you know what? She was like, you know what? These jobs suck. And he's like, you know what? You're right. And then he literally walked off into the woods, and that was the end of the movie.
Yeah. It's like, wow, thanks. Turns out his whole plot line was a waste of time.
The whole thing.
There's a riff in Mystery Science Theater 3000 from the episode the people who stopped living and became incredibly mixed up zombies or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very final shot of the movie, Tom Servo says, "Thank you for attending No Moral Theater," because the entire movie was pointless. There was nothing to learn or take away from it.
Uh-huh.
The entire thing was an exercise in futility, and that's kind of what I feel every time I finish this movie.
Yeah, like you can tell there was a lot of vision, but the execution of it's so rough that you're like, oh man, you're having a hard time getting through the movie to even understand what it's trying to tell you the whole time.
The problem is, like, if you're not actively making fun of this movie, it's kind of a slog, and this is why, as iconic as it is, as well known as it is, I can't say I actually recommend this as a piece of Squatchploitation. There are far better produced schlocky Sasquatch, like killer Sasquatch movies.
Yeah, they're better executed.
And while those have their own problems, they at least look like they had a budget and a plan.
Right.
This is a movie that while it has ambition in spades, is incredibly aimless and directionless, and it's not fun to watch because, like, the problem is there's two types of bad movies in the world, right? There's a bad movie that, while it sucked, it's still enjoyable, and then there's a bad movie that's just bad. And this one, when it's working, it's the former, but for the majority of it, it's the latter, because it plods along while simultaneously barreling ahead. It's very bizarre. I think Myth would agree with me on this.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't say bizarre. You're being kind, but I will go with bizarre. You know.
This is a Twilight Zone movie, for sure.
Yeah.
Watch this late at night.
So I guess, do we have a rating system? Do we need to come up with a rating system?
Oh, definitely. And
out of 5 or out of 10,
rating.
for real?
I'm going to give a joke rating, and then you can give it a proper rating. I rate this movie a Bob Hieronymus out of 10.
Oh yeah. Big rough.
But as far as like an actual rating goes, and I want you guys to hear me, and I mean this from the bottom of my heart, and I've made no secret how I feel about this movie. I'll give it, to be kind, I'll give it a 2.5 out of 10.
That's generous. I honestly thought you were about to slap a 0 on the table.
I really want to, but I'm gonna try to be a better person.
We'll find a 0 rated movie at some point.
Okay, so if I had to actually rate this, I think I'm gonna also agree with Myth's assessment. It's a 2.5. There are some bits and pieces of this that are worthwhile, mainly when the movie leans full into schlock. Because I feel like if I were to fix anything about this movie, I would fix the fact that it's trying to take itself seriously. That's the main problem with it. David Wescovich fully believed in what he was making. And, to some extent, those movies where it's very earnest and they tried their best and it still sucks have their own charm to them. But the thing is, when the movie is being earnest and trying to be serious, it's boring as hell. The movie is most fun when Sasquatch is doing the over-the-top stupid bullshit. Like throwing limbs at people and drinking blood and smacking people over. Basically, if it was more Sasquatch rampaging and less vague pontificating about the nature of man's exploitation of natural resources, we might have something here. But
we don't.
No.
We do not.
So, Jaster, what about you?
I'm gonna rate it a 3.5 just because I love crappy movies. It's a part of
That's fair.
My childhood.
Yeah.
So I like those movies.
Yeah. I'm also a crappy movie enthusiast, but this crappy movie doesn't do it for me.
It does for me just because the fact that like the producer, the director did this with such gusto. It's like you could see it throughout the movie. You know what I mean? The whole movie clicks once you realize that this dude is like thinking he's about to like break film festivals for the next 10 years. Like that's how he went into this. And like once you read it with that in mind, the whole movie changes, at least in my mind. But yeah, I can't score it legitimately above that. Like, we'll have better ones out there for sure. But yeah, this one's one that I wanted to bring up to get us started on this series, just to kind of get everybody into the idea that, like, oh man, there's some real doozies out there. You know, we're going to go through them, but oh my goodness, when it comes to this Sasquatch exploitation genre that Kaz has been talking about, you get all kinds. And this is some of the roughest that you can find. And oh my goodness, it's bad from start to finish. You don't know what's going on. It's like watching a bad movie for real. But these guys are like on the niche of the niche on the market. And like, so it's definitely a local legend of a movie, surely just because of how bad it is and because of how major movie critics have covered it over the years. But on a Bigfoot level, this one's really wild because it can't establish where Bigfoot lies on the spectrum between real creature and supernatural, and then it just settles on it being basically just crazy. You know what I mean? And just being full-on supernatural Sasquatch. Now...
Yeah. Oh, I guess the question comes, do we recommend this? Because we rated it. I know you do.
I do.
You hate this movie.
I love this movie, but because I love stupid movies. Okay?
I
guess
I
Myth will
endorse
not.
it. I'm going to say yes with an asterisk. You got to get some buds together to watch this movie. You know, everybody, make sure everybody has, gone to the corner store and gotten some drinks. Get some wings, some pizza, or whatever. And then turn this movie on, and you'll be in the right mindset for it. Because it's gutter trash. It's mindless schlock. And if you're joking, if you're MSTing it and you're hooting and you're hollering, then you can get something out of it because you get the experience with your friends, and that's really where you get the most value out of this movie. If you're gonna try and just watch it on its own, it's not worth it. What about you, Myth?
I'm gonna say this in the most polite way I can put it.
Oh boy.
No, it's gonna be polite. I promise.
No. I want to hear.
If you are going to watch it, do not take it serious. Don't go into this like, oh, I'm gonna watch a Bigfoot movie and it's gonna be great. Because let me just tell you, I went into this and they warned me in advance that it was not going to be, the best depiction of Bigfoot. But like, I had no idea of what I was about to endure, okay? It's not like the worst thing I've ever seen, but I just was like, oh,
It's pretty
I
up there.
have so much to say. But like, in all seriousness, I enjoyed watching it with them. I think that's what made it easier for me. Like, I definitely sat down. I was like, okay, this is actually something I could sit here because I'm not watching it by myself. And if I have questions, I can talk to these guys about it. So it's just like, don't take it serious. Enjoy the moment. But if you're like me and you just have a tendency to be a bit of an asshole, you kind of just be like, I don't know if I like this, But do what you will. Do what you will.
All right. So I think this wraps up our first Sasquatch movie review. So if you guys like what you heard, go ahead and recommend some things for us to watch down below. If you want to join our community of people here trying to keep an eye out on the Bigfoot phenomenon, you can like, comment, subscribe, and join the Bigfoot tip line. We got many more things coming down the pipe here at the channel that we're excited to talk to you guys about. So, with that, this is Jaster with the Southeast Bigfoot Research Organization, and we will talk to you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.